All right, welcome guys. Thank you for coming here for today's e-meet. So we have a special designer and educator with us. He's Dr. Ghoshal. Now, COVID-19 has brought a lot of changes in the way we live. It has also affected the way exams are being organized, right? So the recent notification from NID says that for the DAT mains, they have changed the pattern. Not only that, they have also changed the ratio of importance for prelims versus mains. So they are taking 70% of prelims marks and 30% of the DAT mains marks, right? Not only that, they have changed the pattern, so they are asking the students to upload some creative works, and even though they have not announced for a online interaction, but that is we are expecting that it's going to follow soon. Okay. Now, before we deep dive into and understand what to be done for the thematic uh, reflective presentation work, and also sharing sample of works, and also uploading the statement of purpose, it is important to understand what educators are actually looking for in a candidate. And we thought, who else is better than the person who himself has initiated and started the Bangalore NID Rnd Campus, right? Who has 30 plus years of experience with NID, and also as an educator, as a designer, who had gone through or reviewed so many students' works to shortlist them, right? So I think it's a great privilege for all of us to have Dr. Ghoshal here to understand from him, from his experiences, right? So what to expect in these kind of exams. So the format of today's presentation is going to be like this. Uh, the first the first half will be about understanding what design educators like from NID are expecting from a candidate. When they give some assignments like this, what are they actually looking for? When you know that, you can actually address and give what they want, right? So that is the first part of the session. And the second part of the session is, since the world has changed completely in the last 60 days, right? So what is the future of design? And of course, design has a greater role to play now in these tough times, okay? And these situations ask for greater skills and attributes from the designers. So you being the aspiring designers going into the future, what kind of skills, aptitudes, attitudes, behaviors you need to develop to thrive in that future? So that will be the second part of this e-meet, right? And all through, Dr. Ghoshal is going to help us understand by citing various examples from his personal life, professional life, right? And what we do is we keep the specific questions to sometime in the middle of the discussion. Let us first understand what educators are looking for in the aspiring design aspirants, right? Especially in the exams like NIDs. Sir, you're welcome for this e-meet, and we are organizing this e-meet especially to connect a gap between the professionals, the creative professionals, the parents of students who are looking for getting into these design disciplines. Okay, so because they have a lot of questions, they do not have first-hand connects with design professionals like architects, fashion designers, or designers. And even then, if they have these connections, it is very difficult for them to spare their time and clarify all those doubts. So we are creating a platform where students and parents can come and interact with professionals like you to understand the profession firsthand. All right. So with that note, I would like to welcome Dr. Ghoshal, and sir,
Thank you.
please, yeah.
First of all, thanks to all of you who are joining this e-meet. Before that, thank you, Umesh, for such a wonderful, creating the platform and the framework note. Um, Again, welcome all of you and wish you all the very best, whatever that you want to do in future in the creative economy. Now, to all of you, I'll take you through certain very interesting things which we have practiced for the last 30 years. I'll first talk about the traditional and time-tested models of what exactly do we look for in a person who wants to come into the creative field. Creative field is important than design. Now, the first question is, what is design? Now, all of you, please understand that, like all of you, I have got a mouse in front of me, which is basically black and gray. If somebody tells me that, if I make this mouse as purple or magenta with a little streak of red, it will look much better than whatever it looks now. Now, the question is, to do that, is that design? To do that, you don't have to go
Okay, so I just got a message from Dr. Ghoshal that there was some technical issue from his side. So let us just wait for him to come back. Okay, so meanwhile, I would want you to ask any questions that you have related to the new pattern. All right, so I'll try to answer those questions as we wait for Dr. Ghoshal to come. All right, so yeah, so there is a little issue um, from Dr. Goshal's side. There's a small technical glitch. So what I was suggesting is if you can kindly ask any of your questions. So one of the things that they have asked for is creative, so thematic, reflective presentation, right? So did you guys start working on it? Have any of you started working on it? If yes, can you type yes in the chat window, please? All right, so good to know that some of you have started preparing for this thematic representative presentation. Okay, so good. I think we have Dr. Ghoshal back in the room. Okay, so let us just wait for a few more seconds.
Umesh, Umesh, I'm back.
Fantastic, sir. Yes,
I'm back on my mobile.
mobile. All right.
So
Okay.
nothing wrong. You may not be able to see me, but
Yes,
can we continue?
sure, sir. Let's continue. Let us continue.
Okay, okay, dear all, I'm really sorry for this technical glitch. Uh, Now, the first thing is, as I told you about the purple or magenta mouse, that is not design. Second thing is, what does it do actually? What does design do? Is it, I like to do something very interesting? No. Unless and until you have a taker, your interesting work doesn't matter. So you need to understand the context of design, the business of design. How does design create a value add? And the third thing is, my dear ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please be very, very clear that while we respect your creative pursuits of making a wonderful art piece, drawing piece, form piece, nice problem solving, or a nice identification, please be clear that in reality, in the marketplace, you are not going to work alone. You have to understand your stakeholders. With whom are you going to work with? So, for the time being, let's keep these points open. And sometimes when we ask people that tell me in the creative pursuit or the creative field, what have you done? He or she says, sir, I have done something interesting. Now, interesting is not enough. Interesting is for whom? You, A, B, C, D. So let me flag these points. One thing that we would like to see from all the boys and girls and aspiring students who wants to come into the creative field, we look for power of observations. Now, what is the difference between observation, seeing, and watching? Seeing is something. Watching a beautiful sunset or a beautiful, bird flying is another thing. But observation is something different. Observation is, why is he doing like this? Observation is, if it looks like this, can I use it somewhere else? So these are the part of observation. The next thing that we look for is, just give me a second. Where is that? Yeah, sorry. The second thing that we look for, an eye for scale, ratio, proportion. Now, if I give you a drawing of a staircase, and if I ask you draw a person who is standing on the staircase and who is sitting on the staircase. Now, you have to have a sense of scale proportion. In the similar way, if I ask you that become an ant in front of a huge rock, how will you portray that? Or imagine you have become 100 times in your, height, length, breadth, everything. How will you look at a small stone in front of you? You got my point? Well, observation has got another part. In my experience, in one of the occasions, we had a test. We told these creative boys and girls that why don't you enter into that room, and there will be four and there are certain things on the table. Just watch, observe, and come back and list down what all have you seen. Now let's look at this fun. One group of people, their hands behind, they enter into the room, they see four cuboids, comes back, they write that on the right hand side table there were four cuboids. Now let's look at the second group of people. The second group of boys and girls enter, and out of that 10% only picks up the cuboids and gives a little tinkering to it. They discovered that one cuboid was made out of paper, another cuboid was made out of plastic, another cuboid was made of metal, another cuboid was made of lead, and there was another cube. That's it. And there comes the third group. The third group enters the room, not only picks up each and every individual cuboids, but also smells it. We had actually put a drop of kerosene in one of these cuboids. So observation is utilizing your all five senses and sensory organs, not as different to seeing and watching. Be clear about that. Well, yes, in this case, let me also flag out a very interesting case that I have come across. We had given a lump of clay and asked the boys and girls to divide the lump of clays into two halves. In one half, they have to make something which is heavy, and with the other one, which is something lighter. So many people made something, somebody made an elephant, somebody made a butterfly. But one of the characters I will never forget in my lifetime. Remember one thing, we asked them to divide the clay into two halves, not two equal halves. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now, what this boy does is that he divides the lump of clay in two unequal halves. One is heavier, the other one is lighter. With both of these lumps, he makes an hexagon, and on the bigger one, he writes 10 kilogram, and on the smaller one, he writes 2 kilogram. Fantastic. Then let's come to the second point, which is called eye for details. I give all of you a piece of stapler. You give 100 people a stapler and ask them to draw. Everybody will draw something or other. But there will be only few people who will position the stapler and look at it from that perspective, from where all the details of the stapler is visible. I hope this is clear. Next, come to the ability to look at things from a different perspective. All of you have a piece of pen in front of you. Is it a pen or is it a writing instrument? See, if you look at a pen as a pen, you are
confined within the framework, you can't move ahead. You can't go left and right. A pen is a pen is a pen. But no, a pen is a writing instrument. Then only you start thinking of who writes, what writes. Because a bacha, he also writes A, B, C, D, E. And the CEO, he also writes, but he also only puts his signature and only he writes approved. So this the statement of a pen to a child and the statement and the purpose of a pen to a CEO are completely different. I hope this is clear. Let's come to the second point called obvious and non-obvious. You all have done a drawing and painting. Now the question is, while you had painted that scenario, the sun or the light point was somewhere. So it's obvious for you to show the light effect on the painting. And similarly, there are certain kinds of things which are non-obvious. Non-obvious is, if I tell you a water bottle. Now a water bottle is a water bottle is a water bottle. Then if I tell you, by how can you use the water bottle in a completely different scenario altogether? How many will you be, of all of you will be comfortable with this? Because I have thought of a bottle which contains water. Can I convert the bottle into something which is completely non-obvious, which you can't even think of? Now let's come to another point which we look for is sensitivity towards materials and processes. Now, given a piece of clay, if I ask you to, suppose I have given you a, plaster of Paris block, and if I ask you to cut into a neat piece of a square, how will you approach to it? Got my point? If I tell you this is a flat cloth, you have to make a wonderful pouch out of it. How will you approach to it? Now, let me tell you another very important thing, sensitivity towards materials and processes. I have gone through a very interesting series of experiences. Imagine I give you a piece of a wire which is 1 meter long, and then ask you to make a cuboid out of it. Now what happens is there are two kinds of people. One kind of people, they jump onto it. They start bending the wire piece with their hands. Now finally what they produce is not a rectangular cuboid, not a sphere, not a prism, tera, mera, these kind of stuff. The other group of people who thinks first, what he does is he bends the metal wire into two squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the strand below, 6, 7, 8, 9. It becomes a beautiful rectangular cuboid which can stand on its own on the table. Well, let's come to another point, last but two. For some peculiar reason, drawing and painting has always been associated with design. No, it doesn't have actually any connection. What we want from you is your way of communicating things and expressing things. Because in all the design schools, the day one of the class begins with how to hold the pencil, how to mend the pencil. So we don't want a great drawing and printing from you. What we want from you is that how are you communicating whatever that you have in mind with the other person, with the third person. Next comes to, this is really last but one, ability to connect. I'll tell you a beautiful joke which I have gone through. Somebody sent me a message that Barack Obama is looking fairer. And below he gives his answer that he has been using Fair and Lovely for the last 1 year. Now, somebody told me that, are you cutting a joke about Barack Obama? I said, no, I'm not cutting a joke. What I'm flagging is try to understand the person's ability to connect. A South African with black skin can also use Fair and Lovely to become fairer. Connections from where to where. And by the way, Mr. Satish Gokhale, who is one of the prominent designers in India and a member to a large number of international bodies for evaluation, he told me one day that, Ghoshal, did you notice that the previous version of the Honda City, if you look at the tail lamps, it is actually one clove of pomegranate. What a beautiful ability to connect. That a clove of pomegranate, the shape and form, can be the shape and form of a tail lamp. I hope this is clear to all of you. And to end this chapter, let me also take you to the last point. Design is heavily concerned with quality and value addition. It is not a matter of changing color or shape and form. What kind of value additions that you are bringing on board through your ideas? Now, this is boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first chapter. The second chapter is, in this emergence of pro-COVID and the changing scenario of the whole world, what are the things that we are looking for from all of you? Because the ways of imparting design pedagogy, education, the ways of teaching are changing. In the current scenario, what we look from all of you are as follows. Number one, all of the above, plus. Now it's going to be digital world. So when you are in front of the camera, show up a little bit of light on your face. Show your, heart to the creative domain. Tell them how passionate you want to be. Tell us something which you liked, and your body gesture, posture, your hand movements, your facial movements, transpires that passion. This is becoming very, very important. Next, it is becoming extremely important to show up your ability to collect information and knowledge. A huge amount of knowledge is available on Google, YouTube. Tell them that since I have been passionate to this, I have been going through all this kind of stuff and I have this idea. You understand? Because we need to see that how much are you connected to the transiting world? How much are you prepared for the emerging world? Well, next is exposure and knack to digital. You tell them that are you digitally active? Because gone are the days of making a product model or a mock-up model out of wood. No. Can you create the texture of wood in a digital domain and tell them that, sir, I have been going through these kinds of apps and doing these kind of experimentations. That will be much more appreciated. Next is an interest for technology and process. Tell them that you are not, apart from technology, because now technology is going to, impregnate your thinking, doing, and applying. So tell them that you are connected with the technology and the process. You don't have to get psyched. Please go through the YouTube links, look up all kinds of so-called amazing products. Try to look at their product forms, textures, and tell them that, sir, I'm heavily interested into such kind of forms. The last point which I want to, in this chapter, which I want to flag to all of you, is that please understand that there are three kinds of creative people in the whole world. One, who are extremely passionate about skill, hand drawing, painting, making of something by hand, mix up of material, make things, it's kind of hand skill. Number one. Number two, there are certain kinds of people who may not be so good at drawing, painting, rendering, skills, and those kind of stuff, but they're extremely good at ideation. What a brilliant idea. Now, what could be this brilliant idea? Let me give you an example. For the last, I don't know how many hundreds of years, we have been using curtains, cloth curtains, curtains of various material, curtains of natural material, curtains of high-end materials. Can there be a concept of a visual curtain, which is completely away and off from fabric as a material? Can the glass itself on my window become intelligent enough to create a curtain of my desire and need? So this is an example of what a brilliant idea. Then, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, those who are listening to this, there are kind of people who feels that I'm quite happy and relaxed about being with people. Now, what does it mean? It means that keeping an eye open and ears open too. Why are they not behaving well? Let's say this issue of waste management. We have been talking about this for the last 10 years, but nothing has happened so far. Can somebody be in the market and be with people? Is that trying to understand why is it not happening? What are the things that they are not understanding? What may work? What may not work? For whom? in which context, what exactly do they need, and what could be the design strategy. Now again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I talked about 3 tracks of design application. Please understand, all of them hold equal weightage to the industry, because the way industry, absorbs you is that they absorb you as a team. His skill is good, her conceptualizations are good, and her research methodologies are good. So take all 3 of them. This is the way it works. Now, I complete my second chapter. Now, over to Umesh. Umesh, you want to flag those issues now or after some time?
Yes, sir. So as you are saying, uh, the design schools are giving equal importance for these 3 kinds of aspirants: those who are really great in their skill, those who are really great in their concept, and those who are quite hands-on, and they would like to interact with people and observe and all that, right? So from the DAT 2020 perspective, the student, when the students are required to do these 3 assignments and upload, okay, so what would be the best strategy for these guys to create this work?
Actually, now Umesh,
Yes,
let's come to point by point.
yes.
Number 1, they have been asked to make a poster, is it?
They said, okay, so let me just read out. You have the exact wording?
Let's focus on that. Let's focus on that.
Yeah.
It's from generics to specifics.
Yes, yes. I'll just read that out.
I remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I suppose you are supposed to submit first one poster which talks about any incidents of your failure or a journey. Now, please appreciate this poster.
Sir, 1 minute. So I got this exact reading. Okay.
Yeah.
So they say, meanwhile, you may deliberate and prepare for the thematic reflective presentation on either one of the following topics. Number 1, an interesting story of failure in your life and learning from it. Number 2, a memorable journey you have had and why was it memorable?
Wait, hold on. Let's deliberate on that.
Yes.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to all of you who are listening to this webinar, please understand that here we are talking about the heartfelt feeling of a communication process, not designing the poster. In any case, this is going to be a poster, but does it talk about your heart? I hope you have understood what exactly I have in mind. Let's talk about this, failure. Now, the question is, how do you communicate failure? And if you take the second one, a journey. Now, what is the word which is common to both of them? Is it depicting the event? No. Is it depicting how many people were there? No. It should depict your experience. Because in a failure, what is your experience? Can you depict that experience? For example, to all of you, let me tell you, just as a story guideline, a very interesting story of my failure. I don't know whether it is a failure or not. By the way, after 32 years, I have recently failed in one of the industrial projects. So I'll go back to a very old story. You know, there was an International Ergonomics Association conference in Australia. So I thought, as a faculty member, I must go to Australia. I must attend to that conference. But like a good boy, I thought that if my paper is not accepted in the conference, with what face I can go to my management and tell that I want to go and attend that. So that was the point of time when I was going to Calcutta to organize NID's admission test. So as a good boy, in Calcutta, I wrote a paper with my own money. I had sent that paper to Australia, and during the process, 7 or 10 days were passed. Then I had to finish the exam test, admission test, and then I came back to Ahmedabad. In the meanwhile, I got a response from Australia that thank you very much, your paper has been accepted. And at that point of time, I went to my director saying that, sir, you'll be glad to know that my paper has been accepted, and can I have a sponsorship from NID? He said, sorry, Ghoshal, your senior has already approached me, and I have already approved his going to Australia, and I don't have any more money to sponsor. So what happened to me? I had nobody around. I had a huge amount of failure and frustration that while my paper has been accepted already, but because of my absence, my senior had approached the director and got the approval to go there. Believe me, boys and girls, it was a height of frustration at that point of time. I was not even married. There were no person around with whom I can share my failure, frustration, whatever. Now, the issue is coming to your challenge. Is it a depiction of event? Is it a depiction of scenario? Or is it a depiction of personal feelings and experiences? I hope this is clear to you. So whenever you make such kind of a poster, eventualities don't matter. Characterizations don't matter. What matters is, through the poster, can you bring out your experience? Is that clear? Umesh, can we move on to the next one?
Yeah. So at this juncture, I have a small question. Okay. So
Please.
when they're trying to convey the experience,
Hmm.
okay, now it is also important to communicate the context of that experience, right? Because the viewer will have to understand in which context the student is talking about. And
The context, you are absolutely right. The context is going to be there because you need to picturize the scenario around. What was there around and in that to create the context? Am I right?
yes, yes, and they're also saying to address the reason why, like, okay, why, for example, for the point to why was it memorable, or for the point to one in the case of failure, the learning from it. So
Yes.
it is the context, the experience, and the outcome. Can say like that, right? So they should be able to communicate. Yes, right?
Now, Umesh, thank you very much for this flagging.
Yeah.
I must tell all of you who are listening to this and who are attending to this, whatever that you create and present it to a second party or third party, it must create a story.
Yeah.
Story is, here was the beginning, here was the context, this happened, and this was my feeling and experience. Can a single single piece of A3 page can narrate that story? Now, please understand, I'll take a couple of seconds more. What is the, what did I mention about, creating a story? I'll tell you. In your birthday, somebody presents you with a Lamy pen. A Lamy pen is a dream pen for all the designers.
Absolutely.
So the moment somebody presents you a Lamy pen, you act in your psyche, you actually jump off 3 feet, saying that, wow, he has given a Lamy pen, so I must keep it in a much better place. I will handle this pen in a much better, friendlier way. I will never throw this pen from my hand to the cupboard. I will always show off my Lamy pen to everybody. So it's creating a story out of that, your presentation. So this story must come out from your A3 size paper. I hope this is clear slightly.
Yeah.
Hello.
Absolutely. So I think
and I want to flag another thing for this, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, whosoever is listening to this. Here we talk about something very interesting. Here we talk about design for behavior modification. Design for behavior modification is, I am the same I, but the way I behave in my home and the way I behave if I'm attending an international conference in Hyatt Residency or Marriott or something like that. Please understand, my walking style changes, my speaking style changes, my carrying whatever I am carrying changes. So, but I am the same I. Depending upon the contexts, I behave in a different way altogether. So I hope these 2 points are related.
absolutely.
How, Umesh?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So
Well, can we?
yeah. So I think because most of the people who are attending here are aspirants, design aspirants, and their parents. They may not relate to a Lamy pen. Okay, but as designers, we very well know, right?
Well,
just want to
no,
share.
no, 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 no. I'll
Yeah.
no. Wait.
Sure. Yes.
On this, I have a better example.
Right.
For the parents, for the boys and girls, for the ladies and gentlemen, let me bring out another example, which all of you will be able to touch it.
Right.
We all have gone to all kinds of toilets. One toilet is, a toilet in a roadside dhaba. And the other toilet is the toilet of Marriott or Hotel Hyatt, don't you think we behave differently in different toilets? You got my point?
Yes. Yes.
Now the question is, can you picturize that experience? What were the factors on which you hated the dhaba toilet? And if you actually go to Frankfurt airport and a couple of other international airports, and if you enter into the toilets, you feel like converting those toilets into your office rooms. You got my point? So
Yeah.
these feelings and experiences should come out from that so-called poster. Umesh, another point?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So going forward,
Hmm.
so they have also asked to upload a digital copy of sample of works. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
the general question is, what kind of works should they upload? Uh,
Good point.
yeah.
Here I must tell all, people, ladies and gentlemen, respected parents and boys and girls, that please don't violate intellectual property rights. Do not take somebody else's something. I mean, do not get into the Google or website or YouTube, bring something and paste it as my work, as I think this can work like that. On the contrary, please follow a beautiful way of doing this. You know what I do? When I'm traveling, I sometimes take the camera of my mobile phone close to the fabric of the trouser that I am wearing. Click that texture. Can you apply that texture into another application altogether? I will tell you what I have done recently. I have started a new school of design under the Jain University, Bangalore. And I discovered that there is a very interesting texture on my external wall of the whole building. So I clicked that external cladding texture in the morning, evening, under certain light conditions. I have about 10 pictures of a wild texture. And that has become my background of my PowerPoint presentation. I hope you all are clear about this. Umesh, does that answer the kind of expectations?
Yes, sir. Yeah. And
So try to do something original. Last 2 years back, I was busy settling up our School of Design at UPES Uttarakhand, Dehradun. I just walked out, and in pahari areas, in hilly areas, always there will be nalas and drains which are created from the top of a hillock to take the natural water into the farming land. So when I went there, it was raining, and there was a huge amount of rainwater coming from the top of the hills. I recorded the sound of those waters in a nala, in a drain. And my brief to the students was, here is a sound clip. Can you use the sound clip somewhere else? For example, the water falling sound in a drain, can that sound induce me sleep at night? Are you getting my point, what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So can you take some feedback from the participants? Are they relating?
All right. Yeah, see, I can see some responses here which
Hmm.
are like in line with whatever you are saying, they're responding. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Guys, I also request you, if you have any specific questions, please do
Hmm.
ask in the chat window and let
Hmm.
us put those questions in front of Dr. Ghoshal.
Hmm.
Yeah, there are a couple
Now,
of questions, but I'm
now,
waiting for you to.
now,
Finish. Yeah.
can we move to? Do you have any other points?
There is one more thing that they would like to, they would like to the student to upload. Sorry for that.
Please,
Okay, so
please.
that is the statement of purpose. They have asked the student to write a statement of purpose and
Hmm.
upload.
Excellent.
So, so there are three
Excellent.
pieces of works. Okay,
Excellent.
statement of
Excellent.
purpose and a A3 size work
Hmm.
poster and
Hmm.
a sample of works. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
even though they have not announced about an interview or online interaction, we are
Hmm.
kind of guessing it is quite possible because
Hmm.
unless they see the person, okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
especially in this format of
Hmm.
remote submission,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
how would they authenticate whether the work is right or not? Number one,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it is quite important for the panel also to see the person and understand
Hmm.
who that person is.
Hmm.
Right?
Now, Umesh,
Yeah.
and to all the participants, this point has got two parts.
Right.
One is verification of authenticity,
Hmm.
which I'm sorry, I'm not going to touch on
Okay.
because I respect individual originalities.
Hmm.
But it has got another angle altogether when you are
Okay.
talking about statement of purpose.
Hmm.
Now, before coming to my answer, I want to take them through the changing scenario with your kind permission.
Hmm.
That will become easier for them to make a statement of purpose. Can I do that with your
Yes,
kind
sir.
permission?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, parents, respected parents, boys and girls, please understand when you make your statement of purpose, please understand this chapter. Number one, just before COVID, there was an academic fair in Good Shepherd Auditorium in Bangalore. We were given a couple of design heads. We were given 10 minutes to talk about. So I went up to the podium and addressed and told 2,000 people in the auditorium, parents and prospective candidates. I told them, ladies and gentlemen, tell me about one product which is yet to be designed. All products are done up. If you look at your kitchen, if you look at the plethora of water bottles, if you look at your electronic products, if you look at the furniture segment, if you look at the jewelry segment, if you look at textile segment, it seems all are done up. So the only way to survive is to innovate and drive. And here comes a very, very important point, is that please understand design is not equal to problem solving. Whose problem are you solving? If you teach me how to make a wonderful circular roti, I'm not going to make the roti every day. If you the way Ashok Bhai makes pan, that's a problem for me. But if you teach me how to make that kind of pan, what will I do with that? So please understand, take the myth out of it, is that design is not equal to problem solving. Problem solving is a model of design. Now let's come back. What all of us are talking about is not problem solving, but opportunity finding. Now, in that domain, let me take you through a couple of very interesting scenarios.
Yes, sir.
My own forecast, product will shift to services, systems, and processes. Aspired, desired results and yields and their qualities will be on more focus than just designing the product. If you look at YouTube and you go for kitchen tools, all tools are available. Now the question is, are the tools important for me, or are the expected yields are more important for me? So the flagging is, all the boys and girls, aspiring candidates, please look for innovation possibilities. Next, designing products will become completely digitally integrated, because if you look at a product conceptualization process, well, of course, in the very beginning, it's a matter of, giving it a form, language, blah, 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 blah. But after all, your product has to be realized. So by default, you are talking about materials, processes, technology. And if you talk about materials, process, and technology, Fusion 360 Autodesk is giving you answers to product problems. If you have given a solution, Autodesk is telling you, no, sorry, that's not the best way. You have a better solution for this. So you better get in touch with the digital world. Well, third one, communication. The traditional models of communicational works, graphics, good book layout, branding, communicational languages, etc., entirely will shift to digital world. Next, the currently available tools of communications, including those for 3D animation, holography, laser, to my forecast, it will give rise to another height of new media. By saying new media, what I mean is 3D animation is already there in the market. Good graphics is already in the market. But please understand, you have to go through another 4 years of teaching and learning. And after 4 years, that print media graphics is going to be no longer important, because everything is drifting towards digital. Next, the so-called, things of interior design, furniture design. Now tell me, what are the things remaining in interior design? All are done. Texture, visual effects, lighting conditions, all kinds of furniture design, all are done. So if that is done today, what will you do after 4 years? So the entire shift is going to be on management of space and efficient utilization of space. Well, the next point, controlling the factors of man-made environment, lighting. emotive, emotional lighting, stark lighting, disco lighting, blah, blah, blah. All these are over. Now you are talking about a lighting which is going to be completely controlled by your emotions and AI. Please try to understand. So far we have talked about halogen, incandescent, tube, cathode ray, LED lighting. Now the question is, are you really concerned about those kind of lightings, or you need certain kinds of lights here? There's a large shift going to happen. Well, I hope I'm not giving too much of a push to the creative economy. And the next point in front of me is, let's say watching TV or films, or going to PVRs and things like that. Now, my forecast is the entire entertainment is going to harness 4D and multi-sensory experiences. Because just before the COVID-19, I had been to one of the PVR malls. They talk about 3D and 4D, and in that 3D, the chairs are moving, shaking. That's not the way. The whole thing of experiencing a film is going to take a complete U-turn on multi-sensorial experiences. And just a couple of more things. By the way, our kitchen where we cook food is going to be completely impregnated with AI. Because in one hand, in YouTube, you have all the, culinaries and, all the how to cook, starting from rasam to, chicken tandoori to Italian baked fish or baked whatever. Everything is available on YouTube. When it comes to ready to cook material, market is ready. And you have your toaster, microwave oven, which are also become intelligent. I personally see a beautiful impregnation of all the things together, which is going to be AI driven. Well, I have another forecast. TV screens are going to go away. Because in a TV screen, in the name of a smart television, you can only do whatever they give, but you can't do whatever that you want, even if you are connected through the satellite, GPS, opto, cables, and things like that. So my own forecast is that, where is that? TV screens will evolve as interactive digital screens and as a tool for both communication and entertainment. And my last point is, the PowerPoint presentations will change to interactive demonstrations. And sorry, my last point really is going to be human attributes of forgetting, missing, behavior, emotion will in the future be supported by AI-driven alerts and requisite decision supports. I hope this gives you the complete shift of thinking. And to end my conversation, after 30 years at NID, at our Jain University, in the School of Design, the so-called the D School. The details are available with the DQ labs. We have taken a complete shift towards this. For example, our education programs are completely industry oriented. In the BDAS programs of 4 years, they will have to go through 12 industry exposures. And the exposure begins from semester 1. From semester 4 to semester 7, they have to do 9 projects. Now, it's a beautiful strategy of co-creation and co-collaboration. Since the exposure begins at semester 1, at the semester 4, you can certainly go back to those industries who already know you, who have been exposed to you, and you can say, sir, last time when I came, I saw something here. Can I take up this as a project? So this becomes a co-creation model. Number one. Number two, the strategy that we have taken is that, I have gone through a learning that do your explorations. I suddenly realized that not suddenly for the last 10 years of 10, 15, 20 years of understanding is that industry is not interested to see your explorations because explorations are infinite. Industry wants to know, be it a small issue or a big issue, how did you start? How did you end? So, in my programs, the students will have to do 9 full complete projects. I have done something interesting is that for the last 30 years, I have understood that designers can't write. But without writing, you can't send a project proposal to a third party, na? So, at the same time, All India Council of Technical Education, they mandates that you will have to teach them English. I told them, what fun is this? They all have gone through English medium courses. So I have brought in something called the concept of colloquium papers. Colloquium paper is under the mentorship of our faculty members, you write down something which you think you love. Can you write down something about which you love? And how do you see what will be its tangibilization after 4 years or 5 years? Thus, English is brought in, how to write. And there is another strategy into it. The strategy is, after all, this is going to be a thought paper. If the faculty member feels it's a wonderful paper, this can be published. This can be protected under your intellectual property rights. With a little elaboration, this can be published in an international conference. So this is another thing that I have done. Another thing that we have done is I have seen that during your tenure of your academic program, you keep on doing hajaro kind of explorations. But when it comes to attending an interview and giving the interviewer with a very interesting document saying that, sir, this is my portfolio, they fail miserably. 1. 2, they do fantastic art of creation, fantastic idea. But when it comes to making a presentation to a third party, saying that what are the finesse in my concept, the communication is 0 out of 10. So what I have done is I have created portfolio preparation and presentation and communication skills as credited courses. And the last thing that I have done is the entire model is going to be ask more, know more, learn more, being in touch with the industry. Well, in one case, in one hand, the factors and the processes and the nuances of design will be taught to you, which are common to, let's say global. But the way to interact and the way to, talk to the industries is 50% in our curriculum. Well, I think I better stop here and
Yes,
start
sir.
listening to people.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions pouring in.
Okay.
So some are more practical kind of questions related to the submissions. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So let me just
Okay.
read out some questions to begin with.
Umesh,
Yes, sir.
as after all of us are human being,
Yeah.
will you be able to give me a break of 2 minutes?
Of course, of course. Yes, yes.
So you continue.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
I'll
Sure,
just
sir.
be
Sure,
back
sure.
2 minutes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Sure, sure, sure.
So meanwhile, what I recommend is Dion, if you are there, as we wait for Professor, Dion has a small presentation to make. Okay, so let me just make him, give him the opportunity to present. Dion, can you hear me?
Umesh, I can hear you. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah. So can you just you can do your presentation, please?
Sure. Right. Dr. Ghoshal, thank you. It's been a fantastic presentation. Looking forward to hearing the rest from you. I'll just start off with a small presentation of mine. Right.
You can share your screen.
I'm doing that. Right. So is my screen visible?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all for coming here and attending this webinar. It's been fantastic to have Dr. Ghoshal here, and it's been fantastic to have all of you here as well. This is a small note about DQ Labs. Since all of you are here, we thought it was a good opportunity to tell you what we do. We transform your hobby for art into a career. So that means if you have a hobby, what we do is we help you channelize that hobby into a career. So, for example, if you see what Siddharth has done here, this is an example of an ideation process where Siddharth has been given a task to create a logo, and how his idea has progressed from a simple um, start, which goes all along to various ideation processes to reach this final output. And when we converted this output into something digital, it looks beautiful and it looks professional, right? And Siddharth is just in class 11, or he used to be in class 11 when he went through this course with us. So, this is a beautiful option for you to channel your creativity, and there are tremendous careers that are there from here. You can get into careers related to architecture, into design, into fashion, into product design, into UI UX design. Various opportunities are there for you. uh, we've been started by Umesh and Sean. Umesh and Sean are both designers from IIT Delhi. Umesh is an architect as well and a TEDx speaker. He's worked with Jaguar Land Rover and Hyundai Motors. And Sean also has worked with General Motors along with Umesh, post graduating from IIT Delhi. But both of them got together and they started DQ Labs. They founded DQ Labs way back in 2006, 2007 in that academic year. And they've also started Exam Play. Exam Play, by the way, is an award-winning learning platform. It's won the Design for India award from NASCOM. It's a very significant award, and every one of our students has access to this. We're in the field of design, learning design research, which means if something needs to be taught, or rather if something needs to be learned, how should it be taught effectively? So that's our area of interest. That's our area of learning, of research, and that has been tremendously recognized at global levels. All right. Um, Now, glad that you all are participating in the Industry E-Meet today. We also have free design sketching programs, 3 days free design sketching programs. Tell your friends about it, tell your family about it. It could be for your grandmother, it could be for your cousin, it could be for anybody. Just come here and learn design sketching. We also have the e-meets, the school e-meets, which are very popular. As far as our regular services go, we have the design exploration program, which is for a lot of people who are just trying to figure out whether they want to make a career out of this. We have skill development programs open to absolutely anybody. We have entrance exam coaching for those preparing for NATA, NID, NIFT, USEED, SEED, and JEE Paper 2. And we have portfolio guidance for professionals or students looking into a career or looking into getting into college. But something very unique about DQ Labs is that we have been driving all our students to work towards a live project. And these live projects are open only to the students of DQ Labs. So we have um, Nimble Foods, a logo designed by Pranav Kumar, one of our students from DQ Labs Chennai. We have Tanvi Patravali, who's designed the Maya Kids logo. She's from DQ Labs Marathali, I think. We have 5 students who've been selected for an internship at the LearnCloud Texas, USA. It's a US-based startup. Our students have won, the stamp design contest, and we have had over 150 students participate in the designathon, where they work with real designers giving solutions to real NGOs, something that is live and in place today. So this is these are the opportunities we give our students, and all our students get access to that. And really what happens is, through these projects, through our education, their lives are transformed, their personalities are transformed, and that's why we have such good ranks. We have rank 1 in 4 disciplines this year for NID PG in round 1. We have NID UG. We have tons of our students who've cleared. Similar with USEED, JE Paper 2, or NIFT. We have over 110 students who've cleared NIFT this year. So that's amazing for us and for you as well. So please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Google. Give us a Google review. We'd be very happy to have your feedback. And if you need to reach out to us, we are available all across India. Um, we've just opened a new center at Hosa Road in Bangalore. That's our latest center, but we are in about 6 other cities, and we're available to everybody online and in classrooms. All right. So thank you so much for your time. Back to you, Dr. Ghoshal.
Yeah, thanks, Dion.
Yeah.
So Dr. Ghoshal is with us now. So Dr. Ghoshal, let me ask you a few questions what students are posting in the live chat. And these questions are very practical in nature. So Raj Gopal is asking, sir, you had mentioned that we must portray feelings and emotions that revolve around our experiences rather than depicting the places or people that we were in the trip. So his question is, how exactly do we do that? Yeah.
Can you hear me now properly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We can hear you now. Yeah.
The answer is, if you want to write boom, the explosion of a cracker, BOOM, can you graphically represent as if when I'm looking at the word boom, I can hear the sound?
Right.
You got my point?
Right.
Let me try to get visually connected. Now the current is back in me.
Okay.
Yeah, carry on. Joined meeting in a progress. Yeah, I'm connected. Yeah, I'm joined.
Okay. Okay.
Take me in your as a host.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So meanwhile,
Can you take?
Unmute myself, take me on sea view.
yeah.
So carry on, carry on.
Yes, sir. So Rajgopal, if you remember the assignments or the creative exercises we used to do, like, okay, how do you convey a feeling just using lines? Okay. So if you remember that exercise, we are trying to showcase feelings and emotions,
Ah,
right, in a very simplest form.
yeah,
So you got to use that method
yeah.
to showcase your feelings or the experiences for the thematic reflective presentation. Okay.
Hmm.
So yes, sir. You can add to that.
Yeah.
So any other examples that you can cite, sir, for showcasing the feelings? Like you said, the sound boom.
Yeah.
Okay, how do we express that visually?
Yeah.
So any other inputs can give?
You are asking from me?
Yes, sir.
I'll give you another example. Um, Suppose you are walking through a jungle at night. What are the things that you should depict? Wait, in this case, let me bring back my memories. What is his name, the gentleman who asked this question?
Rajgopal.
Rajgopal. Rajgopal, I hope you can hear me. You can listen to me. Is he
He must be.
listening?
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
must be listening. Yes.
Wait. Take a collage of multicolor of squares. Take Vibgyor color, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Take these palettes as 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. You take hundreds of them. You create a grid of, let's say, 24 square grids by 24 square grids. Using those colored cutouts, can you create a visual collage which shows sunrise, sunset, a jungle, a blue sky, a cityscape? Is something coming to your mind, Rajgopal?
I'm sure, sir. He must be, because we did a lot of exercises, such exercises. But see, when Rajgopal, when you're trying to do this particular exercises, okay, do not constrain yourself saying that, okay, maybe I should not show people, I should not show.
No. Yes.
You
Absolutely.
can, you can definitely
Absolutely.
show, but
Absolutely.
the whole entire composition should be such a way that, number one, yes, it has to attract the person who is viewing it, but more than that, it should communicate what you're trying to tell. Okay, so in that means of communication, you're talking about the feelings and emotions and experiences. Okay, so when you're drawing those people and etc., let us say you are good in drawing human figure drawing, so you can exploit that skill and showcase. Let us say if you're not good in that, then you can go in the abstract mode.
Wait. I have to tell you something.
Yes, sir.
The moment you talked about human figure,
Hmm.
can it come with an expression?
Yes.
An old gentleman,
Yes.
the way he walks,
Hmm.
or an athlete? You got my point, Rajgopal? This is where you can bring, you can bring emotions and experiences into your drawing. Are you getting my point? Hello?
Yeah. Yes, I think he does. He does.
Wait. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Can you visualize, Rajgopal? I hope you can hear me. Can you imagine a 70-year-old lady beggar sitting on a roadside, extremely happy with a beautiful offer of food that somebody has given it to her, and she's enjoying it? Umesh, is it too much?
No. I think, yeah, I think he can definitely visualize.
Huh.
So I mean, he's having this mental block, thinking that okay, he should not depict the place or people. No, you can depict the place or people.
No, no, see,
Yeah.
you know, Rajgopal and the others, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, respected parents, everything happens in a context. So if you forget the context, you will not do 50% of your work. Let's say a small girl celebrating her birthday. Can this be without a context? I am taking a wonderful morning walk. Can this be without any context? Just showing my figures and postures? No. I hope you are getting my point. Is that clear, Umesh?
Yes, sir. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I just want to show one small image. Okay, it's very heart-touching image, but I think how a small picture can melt our hearts and make us wake up. You know. So let me just show this picture on my screen. I know you all would have seen this particular picture. Okay, let me just share my screen. Okay, with the single image, just see the kind of emotions that have been um, arisen in people's mind. Okay, so I'm just sharing this picture. Okay, let me know if
Oh, wonderful. This is a famous picture.
yeah. So can't I mean
This is a
anybody
famous.
who looks at that understands the problems, the huge problem that is going through, right?
The whole world's emotion is in front
Yes,
of you.
yes, yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So,
This
Rajgopal,
is
I hope.
this is called contextualization
Yes, yes.
plus emotions and feelings.
Hmm.
Next, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, let me unshare just a minute. Hmm. Okay. So, next question. Nupur is asking for the thematic reflective presentation.
Huh.
What medium would be good? Sketching with pencil or using digital software? Or can it be 3D as well?
Nupur is very intelligent. It can be done through any media. Because please understand, media is a tool. What matters is your creative expressions. It can be done in any media.
Right.
Excellent question.
Yeah.
And in today's world, Whatever media that you are happy with, if it communicates perfectly, don't worry. Next, can we go to the next one?
Yes, sir. So Niharika is asking, is it necessary to have some kind of experience in digital art before going to college?
Hmm.
Or I can put it in a different way.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. All right. So, um, if given an opportunity, should they use the digital medium or should they go for hands-on representation for this presentation?
Niharika, both of these are important because please understand your release of production will happen through a digital platform
Hmm.
at the end of the cycle. So, whereby you can start off with any media, any natural media. I think the whole world is turning towards when it comes to release of production. Uh, it has to happen through the digital media unless and until this product is related to something like lifestyle products and accessories. Niharika, please note down. I think I got your heart. Niharika, please note down two addresses. One is Costa Voda, Kosta Boda. Costa Boda is a village in Sweden who is famous about hand blown glasses. So, if you are talking about certain, you know, a physical feel, and if you want to differentiate yourself that your all outcomes are going to be on physical feel, you can afford to be on the physical world. But if you are thinking that your products are going to be is going to cater to the mass market, digital tools are a must now. So it has always, ladies and gentlemen, parents and boys and girls, for the last, I know, 30 years we have been battling between these two ping pong balls. How much should be hands on? How much should be digital? But I think both the things are important. Both the things are important, especially in the coming world.
Yeah.
Next, sir.
Yes, sir. So Umisha is asking,
Hmm.
so these are not in, these questions are not in particular subject or context manner. So whatever questions I'm getting, I'm just going through them. So
Hmm.
they'll be like from different areas.
Hmm.
So Umisha is asking, sir, which field in design have potential after COVID and increasing trend towards technology? Which ones would be more in demand?
Very simple. Uh, Digital world. And as I told you, personally speaking, I don't see much future of three-dimensional products.
Hmm.
I see much future in the domains of service design, support design, and it's more of that only. And please understand, uh, it is something like um, see, Umesha, if you are asking for how to cut potatoes in all forms, enough number of products are available on Amazon and YouTube. So I would, as a design educator, as a citizen, as a parent, I will request and urge you to not to go and fall for it, but try to look at certain things which are completely innovation driven and digitally enabled. I hope it answers to an extent.
Yes, sir. So the two areas that you're talking about is number one, the service design, and then the digital design.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it has great scope. And as you see the product,
Hmm.
because with the easy availability of 3D printers, you can
Hmm.
print the
Hmm.
product and probably use. So the
Hmm.
concept of mass manufacturing takes a
Yes.
different meaning
And
altogether.
and just to complement whatever you just mentioned, Umesha, now the form, color, texture, material does not seem to matter at all, because whatever that you can think of is producible. Because previously the world was governed by engineering technologies. Now it is being governed by manufacturing technologies. It's a huge difference. Engineering technology talked about allowance, behavior, material, temperature, this and that. Now, if you go to the possibilities in manufacturing technology, the software is going to give you answers. Which material should you go for? Which process should you go for? Is that correct, Umesh?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, next.
Okay, so the next question is from a parent. Okay.
Okay,
Now he has a very genuine question to ask. Okay,
okay,
so I hope this question is taken in the right spirit.
okay,
Now, what happens is, okay, when we're talking about the private institutes, okay,
okay. I know the rest of
faculty,
your I know the rest of your question. I know the rest of your question.
okay. So what
No,
happens
no,
if
no, no,
our
no, no.
faculty moves out?
No,
Is
no,
the
no.
question, right?
I know the rest of your question.
Okay.
Now, uh, sir and madam, whosoever has raised this, let me tell you point blank, private government institutions don't matter. What it matters is the worth of your work, the kinds of projects that you have worked on, the kind of industries that you have been working with, and what is your originality. Because it has happened with me when the CEO of Moonraft, Shri Kumar, one day called me up saying that, sir, are you still with NID? I said, yes. Then he said, I have just rejected 2 candidates from NID. It seems you are not teaching nowadays. I said, Srikumar, please understand, for a year, I was into another hat and I was not teaching really. So coming to the conclusion is that we have organized our people in such a way that once the message is understood and once the process and the focus is understood, uh, it is quite okay. Number one. Number two, please understand, private institutions are paying more than the government institutions. So people are more coming to private organizations rather than going to government organizations. And dear parents, please understand, I'm making these things brutally honest, is that because of the reason of survival, private institutions will have to offer the best. And the government organizations, after the 7th Pay Commission, with all the other allowances, HTC, LTC, etc., etc., you are reasonably covered. Why should you spend much of your energy in teaching design? Because you get a good salary, nobody can kick you out, you have a home travel concession, you have a leave travel concession, which the private organizations don't have. But sheerly and purely to survive, private organizations will have to offer you the best and the most. And this I'm telling you after my 29 years of being in the government, enjoying the leave travel concession to the extent that if your leave travel concession is approved, you get cash worth of rupees 7 days of salary by cash in your account, which private organizations can't afford to. But they will have to live by, they will have to survive. And to survive, they'll have to offer you the best and the most. So
Yeah.
there I stop. I hope it gives the right signal to the parents and the attending participants.
Yeah, sir, the question is more on
Hmm,
like what happens when a star faculty or a professor
hmm,
from a private institute moves to a different private institute. So what happens? Because when parents are making decisions on choosing a
hmm,
design school, they are definitely
hmm.
looking at the important people in the organization, right? For example,
This is another part of your
yes,
original question.
right,
Let me put it the other way around. Um, there are certain organizations which started proliferating about 10 to 15 years back with their own aims and dreams and whatever. In between, there are large number of NIDs have come in. And in between, what has happened is there has been a large reshuffling of people as to who wants to be where. Now, this picture is absolutely clear to me when it comes to Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Jorhat, Vizag, Bhopal, Calcutta, etc., etc., etc. Now, somewhere I see that people have come clustered into a location from where they won't move for the next 5 to 6 years. By the way, um, I have an offer from 4 known institutes. I also have an offer from an institution who are supported by 10 very well known industries. And the offer is on my term. But I have decided to stay here in Bangalore because of 2 reasons. One, the Jain University is taking care of me reasonably well. Number two, the kind of collage that we will get it here. Because in Bangalore, parents, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, in Maleshwaram, you can still get your garment stitched with manual stitching. And in the Whitefield with Honeywell, Karma Bhutia is my student who is working on smart material for this future world. So why should I leave this collage? What a brilliant collage that I have. And around Bangalore, all the design studios that you see, you hear, all the heads of UI, UX, Amazon, Meru, this and that, all are my students. So why should I go to Calcutta where I don't have much I might have a good salary, but I don't have any scope to go forward in terms of scale and scope of economy. So if you look at the congregation of teachers and the faculty members has already happened. So don't be worried about that.
Right. So I guess the question would have been answered. All right. So uh, Dr. Ghoshal will be there with Jane, and you can trust his word on that. Okay.
No. As I tell to anybody in India who might be attending from Jammu and Kashmir, my son studies in Bangalore. I have 2 of my flats wherever I'm sitting registered under Karnataka registration. 2 of my cars is registered in Calcutta, in Karnataka. So at least for the next 15 years or even 20, I don't want to budge from here.
Right. Right. Cool. Thank you, sir, for transparently answering that. Okay, it's a very
Yes,
personal, sensitive question,
I
but
know.
I think it's a genuine question. Like many parents have this kind of a doubt.
No,
So
no, I
thought
no,
you
no. I
thought
have
you can
gone. No.
clarify.
I have gone through these questions.
Yes.
Just give
All
me
right.
1 second.
Sure, sir.
Beta, hey, switch it on, na. My connection. Hey, just give me 1 second. My battery is going
All right.
slow.
Okay.
On only. Actually, fine. Let's move on. Let's move
All
on.
right. So there are a few questions coming on the interview.
Okay.
So there will be a lot of questions like, okay, tell about yourself, describe yourself. How should one approach them? So this is a question by Nandini Sharma.
Okay.
So can you spend some time in terms of how do they answer this kind of questions and what attitude they should be having?
Okay.
Right?
Okay, Nandini, I have got, just give me, allow a second. Can you check how is the power not coming? It's coming. Leave it. Nandini, Umesh, can you repeat your question?
Yeah. So this is about the online interaction or the interview. Okay. See, a few years back they had these interview processes, but then they removed it. But now they are calling it as online interaction. So and it will be the first question is, okay, would it be like a personal interview or could be like a group discussion? Okay, that's an assumption.
No, this is going to be a personal interview.
Okay.
And my advice to all of you is that show a little bit of life in you. Just don't say that I like to design something. That to everybody will tell. And Umesh, I want to give them the example of what we discussed in the morning. You know, parents, my dear parents, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and the participants, what I told Umesh in the morning is that I had out of innumerable interactions, I had one interaction with one of prospective candidates in Bangalore. She is a simple girl. What she told is that something for which I want to take her straight away. What she told is that, sir, I want to design something for them, not for me. I said, wow, you are on the dot because you don't design for yourself. You design for them. So look at the level of, you know, connect of heart, passion. And whosoever is listening to this webinar, please be very, very clear and sure that whatever that you'd like to do doesn't matter much. What it matters is, will it touch them? Will they like it? Will it solve their problem? Will it give rise to some other opportunity? Is that clear?
Yes.
As a designer, you know, you really don't design for yourself. You design for them. You design for that context, which will solve their problem, issues. You have find an opportunity, and you have given a design embodiment to a business group of people, saying that, sir, why don't you do it for them? This is going to help them. So in that case, please be very clear about one fundamental differentiation between design and art.
Right.
Design is for them. Art is for me.
Absolutely.
Art is, it's my expression. Painters, craftsmen, these are their embodiment of art. And here lies the fundamental difference between art and design, whereby both of them can stand alone and focused. Art is not equal to design. Design is not equal to art. Well, there is an art form of design. Problems, design is not equal to problem solving, and problem solving is not equal to design. But problem solving is one of the models of design. I hope this is clear.
Yes, sir.
But if you want to decide to stay back on design, it's not for you. It's for the others. I hope this message is clear.
Yes, it's pretty clear. Yeah. Okay.
Go
So
on.
coming back to the interview context,
Yeah.
like if they ask, like, okay, tell us about yourself, describe yourself,
Hmm.
how should the students answer such kind of a questions? Is it
See,
like a trick question, or is it like a normal question, or
no, see,
totally?
Umesh,
Yeah.
uh, you being in the middle as an anchor and the other audience,
Right.
this is the most difficult question which is asked in Indian Administrative Service examinations also.
Correct.
Tell us something about yourself. Well, it's very, very difficult. So I think what you should talk about is that how, as a thinker from a different perspective, you can bring a change in people's life, society, and the ways of working. How passionate are you towards
Hmm.
an issue, utilization of some material, focus based? For example, sir, I think my mother goes through these kinds of problems in the kitchen. If I do this kind of solutions, it can drive n number of mothers in the kitchen.
Absolutely. Fantastic thought. Yeah.
You got my point?
Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all the other participants, I tell you something to think of is that try to look at your everyday life. All of us go through the same grind, same formula. Even, Mukesh Ambani also, I hope, he drinks a nice tea in the morning. Now, let's go for opportunity finding. And as a designer, how can I bring plausible changes in all the domains? Cost, process, time, the heckle of it. Now, let me come back to an example which I have been exploring nowadays very much. Is that to all of you, did you notice that to drink 1 cup of tea, how many cups of water do we waste? Number one, we are Indians, so we will always make tea a little more in case some family members wants to have an additional cup, in case somebody comes as a guest. So here you add 1 more cup. Because we didn't have a innovative process just to clean that, tea sieving channi. You take it under the water faucet and drive it full to clean it up. Here you have wasted 3 more cups. Because you didn't have a innovative ways of making tea, to clean up the tea vessel, you use minimum 3 more additional cups. So to make 1 cup of tea, you have wasted 7 cups of water. I hope you are getting what I'm signaling at.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at the other thing. Let's look at what happens in a kitchen sink. If you have observed, this is called opportunity finding. Who cleans a vessel in how many ways? Starting from the son or daughter, the parent, the son, the father, mother, kamwali. Each one of them has a definite way of cleaning a vessel. But in the whole process, look at the amount of water being wasted. You got my point?
Yes. Yes.
Now, as a designer, please don't jump into a solution. No hurry, no hurry, no hurry. Nobody has told you to initially to come with a better solution. But my dear friends, be there in that cleaning operation zone for 15 minutes per day and try to understand who is cleaning the vessel in which way and whose habit is what. Now, if this is an opportunity area, can you devise a watering system, not a tap? And watering system in the kitchen, sink. Please remember, it's not opening the tap. It's a matter of watering system to cater to his or her needs of the ways of cleaning the vessel. how many liters of water you will save on earth? I hope you are getting the signals correct.
Yes, 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 yes. Right. Okay. So that's cool. I mean, the session has gone so quick. We already passed six.
Oh, really? I never.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's 6:05.
Yes. I think I'll just ask one last question. Okay. So
Please.
this is from a PG student who's
Okay.
applying for animation in NID.
Okay.
Okay, so I know her. Her skills are really good. Now
Hmm.
she's asking for a PG portfolio.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
should it be really professional or exploratory, or what should be the level of the portfolio?
It's actually very, very simple. What is her name?
Neha Rastogi.
Neha. This is Neha to you. Um, Animation is in one hand, it's a tool and a process.
Hmm.
Now, what I will emphasize on is that just be careful. Animation as a professional subject is already established. Now, if you want to know the tools and processes and mechanisms and softwares of doing animation, don't take me otherwise. You can go anywhere, provided you are clear about your what do you want to achieve, what kind of things that you would like to do in animated forms or in animation. What I would suggest is, uh, when it comes to making a portfolio, you tell them that animation has always been equated with caricature and cartooning. No. Can you show them a new horizon? For example, can animation be used to train the MBBS people
Hmm.
as to how to practice surgery?
Yeah, yeah.
I hope you were getting my point.
Yes, yes.
Can you use animation when people come to make their own pair of specs? How should they decide on lenses, frames? And again, it comes back to 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 the domain of making a storyline out of it. Because please understand, animation per se has got two divisions. One is tools and processes and softwares and editings and these and blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
On the other hand, depicting a storyline to a third party in an animated form. So I think, Neha, if you take the second one, you have the most chance to win, because tools are being offered by anybody and everybody.
That is true. That's very true.
Umesh,
Dr. Ghoshal, this is Sean here.
I can see you here. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I've been listening to the entire talk, and it's really been amazing. There's a lot of insight you have been given. It's really, really, I'm sure the students would have really benefited from it.
Okay,
Okay, in fact, I just have a slide. I want to add to the question asked by Neha, the
please,
same question, Rasto ji.
please.
So basically, what she's asking is she's asking in terms of presentation of your portfolio. Her question is,
Huh.
does it matter that your presentation needs to be extremely professional,
No,
or
no, 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 no,
is,
no. Uh,
is the
see,
content good enough?
so see, at NID, what we have practiced for the last 30 years, as long as I was there. By the way, I'm yet to go through the normal process of superannuation. I still have some time to, become a senior citizen anyway. At NID, whatever we have always practiced is that your intent, purpose, and focus and plan. By saying that, I again come back to my previous point, is that whereby in any case you'll be taught the tools and softwares and hardwares of making an animation. Are you clear about the focus that you want to make to a specific audience in an animated form? So the concept, storylining, and the way you want to communicate a specific thing to a specific group of user in an animation framework, are you clear about that? In any case, tools and processes will be taught to you. And Neha, Sean.
Yes, Dr. Ghoshal.
So, to Sean, to Umesh, and the others concerned, can I flag is something very interesting to Neha, is that you get into NID's website, scroll down, there will be a link called Young Designers.
Yes.
Once you click that, you will get into the previous year's final year students' final projects. You get into those students who had worked on animation films. It will give you a large collage of understanding what all do they do. So that will give you a fantastic, sort of understanding of the whole framework and the kind of work that these people do and the way they do. That will give you a fantastic, in-house getting into the subject.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I checked that link and very interesting. Yeah. Dr. Ghoshal, can we just talk about in your portfolio your overall presentation versus the content? Meaning, does the overall presentation how much does that hold good versus the actual content of the presentation? Meaning, does one really have to focus on how it's presented and the way it's all put together, the layout basically?
See, Sean, it's very straightforward. Contents could be same, but the way you present it are completely different. I'll tell you very simple. Long back, all of us have gone through a subject called biology. And in the biology, there will be an obvious question: what is the difference between an animal cell and a botanical cell and an animal cell? Now, there are two guys. One who goes on writing. There's another group of people who sits with colored pencils, draw an animal cell and draw a botanical cell and write down, this is what this portion does, this is what this portion does. You remember that thing? Hey, Sean.
No, I don't remember that.
No. That means you didn't have biology in your combination. Sorry. Anyway, what I'm saying is content doesn't matter. Content remaining same. But the way you represent it is completely different.
Okay.
You got my point?
Yes,
I hope the participants have gotten to it. You know, in our old, when we were kids, we used to have a standard question of what is the difference between an animal cell and a botanical cell. So there are two kinds of people who wrote sentences. And there is another kind of people who drew a fantastic, animal cell and a botanical cell. And they explained, here are the things which these portions do. They have always gotten the highest marks. So the content doesn't matter. How do you present what it matters?
I understand.
And also, Dr. Ghoshal has made a very interesting point saying that, okay, intent, focus, purpose, and plan. This is what they are looking for. So that's a very interesting perspective. And I think that can guide the students to present their work or put up their work for all these submissions and etc. And talking about the interview, is about being lively and showcasing right.
So show your heart and passion.
Yes.
Don't be, in a secondary mode saying that, sir, I want to do something which is interesting for me. Don't ever say that.
Right.
Show your passion that, you want to create a difference in the world.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And this is addressed to all people. Don't take it otherwise. I mean it. Shadi ka card, marriage card. They have been designing all kinds of cards, all typography, all texture, color, packaging. But if I get somebody to understand what happens in a marriage, and if he can brings out another form of a card which depicts the marriage of two hearts, I think
yeah, I think
you got my point.
Yes, sir. In fact,
so it's regarding in one hand the typo, color, texture, packaging, paper, material, photographs, all aside. I would like to have a person with me who can communicate to me what happens in the marriage of two hearts. I hope it gives the right signal. Hello?
Yes, it does. We're understanding the point.
So you were no longer talking about design cards. You were talking about, as a designer, what exactly do you pick up? What is the intent of that card? What is the purpose of that card?
Correct.
And give it another form.
Correct.
I hope this is clear too. So,
yeah, definitely. I think all the students are I mean, the comments are, they're really understanding. It's a beautiful session, and they're really understanding they're really understanding the intent of what you're saying.
Otherwise, please understand, otherwise it's a matter of designing another card, which in any case I'll do.
That is correct.
And by the way, before I forget, one of the most important flagging is that, ladies and gentlemen, parents, all the boys and girls, please understand, design is a profession where at the end of the convocation day, you are responsible for impacting the national economy. It could be your friend who would ask you, hey, can you give me, no, hey, you are a designer, can you give me better packaging for my product? Yes. You are impacting the national business from the day 2 of your convocation, which no other disciplines offer.
Correct.
I hope this is clear. This is one of the most serious profession in the world. Umesh, am I right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I got a small internet connection problem, so I was booted out. I'm back now.
No, I believe Sean heard this. Sean,
yeah, right.
Sean, was I correct?
Yeah, no, I definitely. What you're saying, if people only understand the meaning of it, like what you're saying is the impact of design.
Absolutely.
And I of course, I get it. I hope all the people, they really understood the actual contribution you are making. You know, in the field of design, raising standards and improving things, whether it's product, whether it is visual communication online, whether it is system or anything. You're adding value. You're changing the system.
And just to compliment Sean to the others, you know, I again come back to the point which I mentioned. Suppose somebody goes through graphic design. Okay, what the neighbors will say? Neighbors will say, hey, you know, he or she is going through the graphic design programs in design. So obviously he or she is going to have a couple of his or her friends. Now, after the completion of the, 4-year program or 2-year master's program, his friend or her friend is going to ask him, hey, boss, now you are a designer. Can you make my marriage card in the electronic format? Now, he is creating a direct impact on social life, society, industrial economy, and whatever. It stands true even for a packaging design. The neighbors will say, hey, you have just come back from such place, you are now a designer. Hey, can you help me in my new business development? I'm coming with a new packaging of rasgullas. So, from the next day onwards, he is contributing to business economy. Is that clear to all of you?
Yes, yes. You've got one compliment from a student, Dr. Ghoshal. The student, Arushi, says, you're very cool.
I better be cool here.
There's another question from Sanjeevani.
Okay.
What is 1 minute? What is this? What is the scope of animation? Yeah.
Sanjeevani.
Future.
Sanjeevani, I touched upon this point a little early. Scope of animation is huge. I'll tell you where. If you talk about international clients like Procter & Gamble, any for that matter, or Hewlett Packards or Microsoft or anybody, decisions are taken at the headquarters. And when it comes to a point of sales in a shop in Malleshwaram, they discovered that, let's say, ways of selling the, the lens of your spec frames, there is a huge amount of information loss as to how should that sales guy give information about the lenses to those customers. You are clear about the entire chain? Some people have developed a high-tech lens in SLR, and the information is coming down to a shop in Malleshwaram at the point of sales. How should the lenses be sold and described and explained to a customer? They discovered that there is a noise or loss of information to the extent of 80%. What they discussed, the ways of lenses to be sold to these customers, this gentleman or the lady at the point of sales in a dukan, in a shop in Malleshwaram, can't explain the customer properly. Here comes the ability of an animation. How will you show the customer as to how does the lens work? What are the benefits that you will get if you get this lens? This is one dimension to it. The another dimension that I personally focus is that animation is going to come in a big way in education. The way we teach geography, history, and please understand, when we had to go through those kinds of inputs, like, what are the regions which go through maximum amount of rainfall? Now, remember, when we were, you were reading that paragraph, you were actually getting drenched in that rain. But a conventional geography book does not give you that experience. So what we have been trying to do is, how do you bring experience of realism through animation? And one of my most personal pet area is going to be medical science. My low back is paining. How do I know where might have got wrong? You got my point?
Very interesting. Yeah, field of meditation also would like to, yeah, I understand.
And see, just to complement what I was trying to tell this candidate is that when all the people who are pursuing their MBBS, during the input of surgery, they have to cut the bodies of human corpses, the dead bodies. Now, my question is, in one hand, there are so many medical colleges coming up. Where do they get the dead bodies here to work on? So my own forecast is that dissecting the human dead bodies, getting the feel of it, wearing intelligent devices which are called haptics. When I'm cutting the skin, I will get the skin feel. When I'm working on the alimentary canal, I will get the feel of that. Now, tell me, 200 medical colleges into even 30 medical students, 6,000 people. Where do I supply 6,000, dead bodies? I hope you are getting my point. So the whole thing will be shown into an animated and haptic enabled process.
Okay.
Sean.
No, even like say, for example, education, even like say training material, training for corporates.
Yeah.
Or instructional design.
No, I know your question very well. I'm requesting you so that I can take off from your half-finished point. Well, to all of you, we have been breaking our heads on teaching and learning. Nobody is talking about that there are two important points which are before teaching and after learning. Nobody is talking about that. Before teaching, what is more important than teaching is that how do you make connect with your students? After that, you have spoken about learning, but very, very unfortunately, we have not been talking about efficacy of learning. How much have you learned? What are the measures of learning? So I think animation is going to cover the whole domain. Is that from a small framework of teaching, learning, how to go a little behind, making the connection with this, and a little beyond from learning, is that how do you ensure efficiency of learning? How much exactly have you learned? The whole thing is going to be converted into animated domains. Animated ways of visualizing that, animated ways of getting connected with the students, animated ways of measuring your efficiency of learning. You got my point?
Yes.
Another current latest example, let me give you. The so-called curriculum vitae. We always tell people, hey boss, why don't you send me a copy of your CV and a work portfolio? But please understand, whatever English that you have written in your CV, is that all of you? Or is it only 40% of you? Does the CV talk about the way you look at things? Does the CV talk about your energy? Does the CV talk about what are the domains that you want to get connected, and the kind of domains that you want to drive? No. Your portfolio, does it talk about all of your capabilities? No. You love cooking. You love frying potatoes in a different way. Does it talk about your PDF portfolio? No. Can we take the advantage of animating, profiling yourself for a third party to accept you, to understand you, what exactly you are? Well, this is not from out of the blues. Please, you can Google in. There is a company called scalabelers.com. Ravi Radhakrishnan is the CEO. We are working towards that. How can we profile a person for proper HR, the making marriage between what the HR has been looking for and what I'm actually in my terms. Who am I? Got the point? So here animation is going to come in a big way. This is my forecast.
Yes. Yeah, good insight. I mean, huge scope for animation and
absolutely. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think when I was requesting Dr. Ghoshal to come on a Sunday evening, okay. So initially we thought, okay, maybe 1 hour, but then I said I requested sir at least 2 hours, but we have already,
No, Sean,
yes,
Umesh, Dion, and the DQ labs in Bangalore. I have a special respect for you, you guys. The way you are trying to spread the message, information, operations, creating the platforms, exploring people to come and get introduced to the newly vibed schools, etc. I always hold a special respect for you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Because I myself have traveled across the world, 14, 15 places around the world. I have seen how UK teaches their mental modeling and something very unique for me. I can't use the word important for me, is that I have been always a non-designer. I entered NID as a complete non-designer, but I had to understand what is this SM Shah talking about, spending half a day on writing a C. What is Mahendra Patel talking about color and composition? What is SM Shah talking about? SM Shah, I have worked with him, the logo design. I wanted to understand what are the things that comes into a logo design. So at a point of time after 30 years, I can open it in public that I think I have been one of the best person to analyze design and try to understand what works, what doesn't work, what are the grammars, what are the factors, what are the nuances, what happened, what did not work, and what will work. So I think I must thank the DQ Labs for giving me a wonderful platform. But my urgent request to all the participants in the webinar is that in that entire discussion, I did not want to get biased. I did not want to blame anybody. I have been very clear about my learnings, what is coming in front of us, how should we prepare ourselves for us, what has worked in the traditional model, and what are the requirements for the forthcoming world. So now I leave it to you, the DQ Labs, for the way you want to, close it or end it or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So I would like to thank, first of all, Dr. Ghoshal for his valuable time and coming here and helping us understand and answering all the questions the aspirants have and also the parents had. Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for spending your time. And I would also like to thank all the participants who have been with us patiently for the last 2.5 hours. And, so understanding uh, what has to be done, how it has to be done for the NID DAT main preparation. And not only just that, but understanding the developments, the current developments happening in
Absolutely,
the industry
absolutely,
now, and
absolutely,
what to look forward in the future.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
Dr. Ghoshal, you have gave us many very interesting examples of how design can uh, change the world, and I really appreciate that.
Thank
And
you very much.
thank you so much, sir. And we intend to conduct this kind of e-meets every Sunday,
Anytime,
4 to 6, right?
absolutely.
So we really appreciate all your effort. Thank you so much, sir.
Who is speaking, Sean or Dion?
No, that was Umesh.
That is Umesh speaking.
Umesh,
Yes, sir.
uh, this is for the first time that I did not sleep on a Sunday because of knowing you guys here
Right.
and understanding fully, having been into your office,
Right.
having seen your course material, I decided that no, let me be with them.
Right. Thank you so much
So
for that.
thank you very, very much.
So much, sir.
Thank you very much to all the participants, parents, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and DQ Labs. Many, many thanks for organizing this platform.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Sean, would you like to add something?
Nothing.
Sean will always have the last word.
Just want to thank you, Dr. Ghoshal. What the insights you gave, the way you broke it down, uh, specifically what they're looking for, the different skills they're looking for, the different, the different what students, which areas students can be more aware of, and which areas they can develop further, or they can be they can look into. It was amazing. I mean, the way you broke it down in all areas, it was amazing. I'm sure it really helped a lot of students. All the information you gave. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much, Sean, and to the entire team at DQ Labs. Wish you all the very best. And the last comment to all the participants, while I respect your decisions, think over it. Whatever I told, if it makes sense, if it creates a difference, if it tells you that what this guy is talking about is original and something new to look at. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, and with this, we are going to stop this live stream
Thank
and
you.
looking forward to meet all the participants again for the next e-meet. Okay?
Thank you so much. Take care, and all the very best to all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Sean.